Today in class, we continued our discussion of evolution to take a look at the how it works. So read this page carefully and take note of where we added some words to help understand what it was saying a little bit better. But ultimately, all of these statements are kind of tied into how Darwin explained the process of evolution in his theory of evolution by natural selection. So it can be kind of simplified in these four statements: that there's differences that exist among species. Those species then compete for resources. Some of the competition would lead to death of some individuals while others survive. Individuals that had an advantageous variation are more likely to be the ones that survive and reproduce. So above advantageous here, I have the word plus. Remember, anywhere you see variation, those are differences. Now, variation is most likely caused by mutations. And this process then became known as natural selection, and those favorable variations were called adaptations. We took a look at a few other vocabulary words. Adaptations are traits that can help a species survive, and it's really difficult to teach you every adaptation that exists among every organism. So we take a look at an eagle and some of the adaptations and what are certain things and how there's an advantage for that organism. So if you're encountering a question that's, discussing like what might be a benefit for this organism, or it doesn't have this, but another organism has it, it's probably talking about an adaptation. A commonly used example of an adaptation is camouflage. And we want to think about, this is an advantage right now that this moth is camouflaged into this environment. But what happens if the environment or the nature changes? And then in that case, that adaptation might not be an advantage anymore. Biological fitness. We're not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're talking about reproductive success. So which organism is more likely to find a mate? So we use the term fit and not fit to describe the one that most likely will find the mate. And we talk about, what would attract some mate to this individual? And we said, well, maybe this eagle would be able to find food. It would protect the young. And so that is something that makes it more attractive to a mate. And again, the whole goal is to go on to make sure you're able to reproduce and have offspring. And so just paying attention to this word viable offspring, that means your offspring are living. And then a few practice test questions that are a flashback to Unit 1 where we talked about cladograms. So try to answer these and you can check in with me. So this is past, this is present, and we're looking to see which one's the first species to become extinct and which species appears to be most successful over time. And that's where we're going to leave off for today.